The Gek is officially out of the water in Raete Carenage in French Polynesia. I hauled my boat out, flew back to Maine for about a month, visited my family, bought a ton of boat parts that I need for this big refit that I'm doing to prepare my boat for my sail west, which will end in New Zealand at the end of the season around October, November. This episode is all about what I'm doing in the boatyard, so please come along, sweat with me a little, let's have fun. Welcome to Wintipy Sailing. I'm single-handing my Grind 27 around the world. I started my trip in Maine with a very cold 10-month overhaul of my entire boat. Solo sailed through the Caribbean, the Panama Canal, and 41 days alone across the Pacific. I've been cruising in French Polynesia for the last year and a half, kiting, spearfishing, freediving, and of course fixing all the things that break on my boat. Aboard the Gek, I have no fridge, water maker, fancy electronics, and my rowboat is a dinghy with a sail rig. If you're interested in seeing my daily life, check out my Instagram at @BoatLizard. Okay, enjoy the episode.
Morning one. Eating dried banana. I just put my burner back on the stove. And we're gonna give her the old testaroonie. Alright. Well, it's not amazing, but it's not making this horrible Tyrannosaurus Rex screeching noise. I think this whole thing is just so rusted out. There we go. That, I mean, this is a temporary fix, but I'm gonna need to try to find a replacement burner somehow, somewhere. So I'm gonna leave this on for a while, and I'm gonna watch the sealant material here once the burner gets up to heat and see if it holds up or if it starts to bubble or if the coin starts to slide around. But while I'm doing my test, I'm gonna put on my coffee. Okay, so last night before I went to sleep, oh, my hair looks really strange. I have a new GoPro that I bought when I was in the States, and it's the GoPro 10, I think. Guys, I've been using the 6 for the past 2 years, and when my sister came to visit me, she had the 10, or she had the 9, and she was like, Holly, I cannot believe you don't have a better GoPro. And I said, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm stupid. So anyway, I have this one, and it has a little selfie camera, which is super distracting, and maybe I don't even want it, because often I'm just very strange looking when I film. So last night I sat down and I made a list. I started here, and then I moved over to my projects book, but it's slightly nicerly listed out here. So these are all the main projects that I have to do on this haul out. Yeah, and then I sort of broke down the big components of what everything involves, and I have a list here of things that I need to order through the boatyard and things that I need to buy at the hardware store. And the way that, ooh, here's a fun thing. This is the notebook that I had when I was overhauling my boat in Maine, and the way that I like to organize sorry, I thought I heard the burner doing something weird. The way that I like to organize for projects is to make a giant master list of everything I need to do and then break everything down by day so that when I wake up I don't feel overwhelmed. So this is the list. This was my sort of master list of the major projects when I was overhauling my boat. And I'll go more into this book on my Patreon for you guys who are interested. But this is basically every day broken down of all the things that I had to do to my boat. It was a lot. Okay, it goes on and on and on and on. But we are talking about this day. So here's my list of everything I need to do, and now I've started here. Thursday, these are the tasks that I'm going to do today. So my big task that I want to do today is get everything ordered so that if it takes a week to come in, I'll still be around. So that means measuring for, I'm replacing all the hose for all the scuppers and drains underneath the cockpit. So I need to measure for that, and I need to order my new anchor chain. I want to go to the hardware store and do one big run and just pick up everything I need, all my painting supplies for painting the bottom, things for epoxying, and then I also have these, if you guys remember from my battery install video, when I added the stainless tubing to put the solar panels on, I couldn't use my old lifelines because the distance was shorter, so I'm using Dyneema, which I really dislike. So I'm going to bring my lifelines in. I need to measure them, and then I want to get them re-terminated so that I can have wire lifelines again. And yeah, just a bunch of other stuff. So, woohoo! So there's an interesting development in the burner action. For one, you will notice it's beautiful. The ring is fully there, and also it's not making any noise at all. But if you look at the sealant, it's kind of expanded and bubbled out, and at first I thought it was bad, but it's not doing anything else. So it either has become extremely brittle, and when I turn off the burner and it cools and touch it, it's just going to crumble away, or it's kind of set itself and my burner works perfectly. So I don't know, maybe that's what it's supposed to do. We'll see. Anyway, priority is the coffee finishing itself, and then we'll check out the burner. Over here, this mess is just making me itch all over my body because I hate messes. This is sort of, what am I going to call it, project place. I have everything set out for everything that I need to do. This is the rest of my bag that I haven't put away. For whatever reason, in a delusional packing frenzy, I picked up these plastic grapes. I don't know what I was thinking. So this sealant got a little bit flaky and porous from the heat being on it, so I don't know, because the flame is directly on it, I don't know if it can actually withstand that, but the burner did act better than it has in months. So I'm just gonna see what happens with this sealant stuff. But I think the idea is there, and if this sealant doesn't work, then all I have to do is find one that does work, and there's got to be something out there that I can use. So there we go. The first thing I'm going to do this morning is empty out the LAS and measure all of the hose lengths that I need to replace all the hose for my scuppers and cockpit drains. Okay, next task is I'm replacing all the gasket in my companionway and in my LAS. I bought this new stuff. It's what I used on my foredeck hatch, and I really like it. This soft flexi gasket is really great for areas that don't have a great seal. So things that are fiberglass hitting fiberglass or wood hitting fiberglass, I prefer to have a flexi seal because it sort of conforms around the irregularities in the two surfaces. And the hard gaskets I tend to use more for things like a metal lip on metal lip, like for a proper aluminum hatch. That's just what I've found to work. I've gone through a ton of gaskets trying to waterproof my foredeck hatch and found this is the best solution, so I'm taking that principle and applying it to my fiberglass on fiberglass lazarette and my wood on fiberglass companionway. So first I'm going to get out all the old gasket, scrape off all the old adhesive, clean it with some paint thinner, and then apply the new gasket. Next task I'm doing is cleaning my knot meter. A lot of times the little pin on these gets corroded and then they stop reading as fast as they should be, so I'm going to undo this guy and see what I'm working with. Here's the situation. I should have taken it out before I had them do the bottom of my boat, so it's just gummed up with a bunch of old bottom paint and oh, so much stuff. I'm gonna get a bucket of vinegar and just let this soak for about 10 minutes and then take it out and see what I can see. Alright, check it out. Beautiful, cleaned, spinny. I've put the dummy plug in. I'll leave it in until I paint the bottom, and I'll change these out if I remember to right before I go in the water, so that this doesn't get damaged when I'm sanding and painting the hull. Next on things list is I bought some proper deck tie downs for my dinghy, because I'm thinking Southern Ocean on the way to New Zealand. If I get knocked down, I want my dinghy to be attached to something really secure. So this is the mock-up. It's kind of cool. This will be what's on the deck. It's just a D-ring. And then this is actually a real core of my deck when I took something I drilled through the deck, and I kept the circly bit. So that I'm just testing that the bolts are the right length, and then I have this starboard as a backing plate on the back, and then nuts and washers on this end, and so that's what that whole thing is going to look like going through my deck. So, and that's what it'll look like on the top. These are nice, they lie flat. I was talking to my dad about it, and I asked him what he recommended for dinghy tie downs, and I said, what will hurt the least when I kick it in the middle of the night? And he told me this, which is true. So first I'm going to over drill the holes and fill them with epoxy, let that set overnight, and then drill through them again, so that even if the caulking breaks down between the bolt and the holes, the water won't seep into the balsa core of my deck. So the task today is to figure out where I'm going to put these, drill the holes too big, fill them with epoxy, and let that kick. And then tomorrow or whenever I can install these. I've just made a list of what is absolutely the most important stuff that I need to do so that I can launch, because a lot of this is stuff I can do in the water. It's easier out of the water, but it's not necessary. So I want to get all the necessary stuff done first, and however long that takes. So I've gone up on deck and I've measured out exactly where I want to put these D-rings in, and now what I've done is I'm using the stanchions as a reference point, and they measure 3 1/4 inches aft of the aftermost bolt on the stanchions. So I'm coming down below, and here is where the stanchion is through bolted. I'm going to measure 3 1/4 inches aft of that, and I'm going to tape this little cup onto the overhead so that when I drill through and all the fiberglass comes out, it's not going to come into my boat. Collection cup is in place. There's a little guesswork here because I forgot to measure how far inboard of the stanchion they're gonna go. Okay, the moment of truth. I've just drilled the holes, and now we're gonna see what happened. Oh, would you look at that? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So the collection cup caught it all. Super lovely. I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other side. Alright, this time I'm gonna leave the GoPro down here while I drill through the deck. Nice. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is clean out the bottoms of these holes a little bit and then tape over them, mix up my epoxy, and stuff it into the gap. I don't know why I had to sound so crude when I said that. Taped up on this side and taped up on this side. And it's time to make some epoxy. My stirring stick is this piece of cardboard that I put tape around, and my epoxy thinger is the garbage of a container of super glue. This is also from the super glue, so we're just DIYing everything. Do you know why? Because the hardware store is a hitchhiking ride away, which takes a really long time because you never know when you're gonna get a ride there or back, and that's a project for this afternoon. Okay, epoxy's ready. I'm just mixing in some colloidal silica. You're not supposed to breathe this stuff in, so I'm using my attached dust mask. This is an awesome consistency. It's just gloopy enough to gloop into the holes, but strong enough that it'll stand on its own. Just got back from the grocery store. They have a 4-day holiday coming up tomorrow, so I wanted to get food anyway because I just got here and I have no vegetables. I hitchhiked in and this really nice couple gave me a ride, and then I was standing on the road with all my bags trying to get a ride back, and the same couple drove by and they stopped, and it was really funny. So anyway, I have purchased enough for hopefully the next week. It's only 5 minutes to the grocery store by car. You never know when you're hitchhiking. It always takes longer than you think. So I just have my basic root vegetables and then also some cucumbers and exciting things that will go bad soon. So there's always an order when you live on a boat without a fridge that you have to eat your food in. I think even people who have boats with fridges eat their food in a certain order. Do you know what I forgot to get? Garlic. Oh my god. I don't know if I can live without garlic for 4 days. This is a travesty, but I'll have to endure. Oh no. Maybe purple cabbage will make me feel better. Garlic is my life, and I'm super unapologetic about it. Right. Things that I've accomplished today. I did. So I replaced all the gaskets starting here. This is new. I put new gasket on the top weatherboard so that when they squish together, it'll be waterproof. Do I have something? Totally. And I also replaced the las gasket. I bought the 2 different sized hoses that I need to install my bilge pump and to replace all the hose for the scuppers and cockpit drains. And I probably did other stuff that I don't remember. Oh yes, I drilled and filled the holes for my dinghy tie downs, and now I'm gonna put away my groceries and just go through and sort of make a plan for tomorrow. I've made a list of the essential things that have to happen for me to put my boat back in the water, and I'm gonna go through those first. Today was a little bit, nothing I did was necessary to launch, but it's all small, easy projects because I was running back and forth to the office, paying my bill, getting hose, ordering anchor chain, so it was really easy to just start and stop these little guys, but tomorrow I sort of get into the meat of the beast and start doing some of these essential projects.
Thank you for watching this week's video. I put out new videos every 2 weeks on Mondays, and for my patrons, you guys get a video on the weeks that I don't put out full-length YouTube video. If you'd like to become a patron, my Patreon is patreon.me/wintippy, and for one-time donations, I have a PayPal that's paypal.me/wintippy. Thank you, Tish, for helping me get these videos scheduled on YouTube. Thank you guys for all your lovely comments, and thank you for buying my t-shirts and sweatshirts and stickers. It's really fun to be matching twinsies with all of you guys. There is a link to my shop in the description below. I'm looking forward to sharing more of what I do in my fabulous haul-out period with you in the upcoming episodes, so don't forget to subscribe and do the notification thinger-majigger, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Patrons, I'll see you guys next week.